Hello. This is another episode of Motivational Monday Live with your host, Aura Elena Martinez. And this episode is entitled, You Must Create Safety Within Yourself. Now, before I start with this week's episode, I want to start by introducing myself if this is the first time that you are watching this series, and also share with you what was it that inspired me, that motivated me, pun intended, to start this series, Motivational Monday Live. Once again, my name is Orlena Martinez, and I'm a self-discovery and empowerment coach, helping women gain total clarity in their purpose so they can wake up to daily fulfillment and certainty. Now, purpose is not to be limited to just a calling. And why is this? Because you could be living your calling and still not be living your most purposeful life. And this is because a purposeful life also requires you to enjoy great levels of mental well-being, emotional well-being, spiritual well-being, physical well-being, and why not even financial well-being. And this is because every part of you and your life matters. Every part of you and your life matters. And what inspired me to start this series is that Monday tends to be that day of the week that some are already feeling anxious, depressed, not looking forward to the start of the week, not looking forward to going to work, and a whole series of things. And I want to tell you this. If you wake up or start your week and you're already like, okay, I'm not looking forward to going to work. I'm not looking forward to the start of the week. I don't like this. I got to do this. Let that be your sign. Let that be your sign that something must change. Something must change because you are not designed to not look forward to every day of the week, not look forward to what needs to get done or what you do. Life is not meant for that. So let that be your sign that something must change. And it is my desire that with this series, you look forward to Mondays because you know that Monday is going to be that day of the week that you're going to fill yourself up with goodness mentally and emotionally and spiritually. And that this is the series that gets you closer and closer to your truth. And why is it important that you know your truth and that you live your truth also? Not just know it, but also live it. Because the more you live your own truth, the more you're going to experience that level of happiness that doesn't rely on something outside of you. That's the kind of happiness that you want to be experiencing. And also, it is my intention with the series that you always elevate your level of consciousness. This is so important. And you're going to hear me say this every week. And the reason why this matters is because your level of consciousness dictates what resonates with you, dictates what you're able to get, how you're able to perceive things. When you see people that seem to be lucky all the time, that seem to be successful, that everything goes right for them, trust when I tell you that they're in a completely different level of consciousness. They're in a level of consciousness that allows them to see things in a different way. Just like when you are on a first floor and you're looking outside from the first floor, the buildings are going to look very, very big, right? Cars are going to look normal size. People are going to look normal size. Yet if you see the outside from the 10th floor, cars look smaller, people look much smaller, the buildings don't look as tall. And I use that as an analogy to describe what happens when you're in a different level of consciousness. What was once big now starts looking small. What you may have thought was small actually starts having a bigger meaning for you, right? When you see certain people doing the same thing or having the same experience, but one is experiencing something different or are able to get things differently that someone else didn't get, they were in a different level of consciousness. So this is why it's so important that you're always elevating your level of consciousness. Now, once again, the topic for this week's episode of Motivational Monday Live is entitled, You Must Create Safety Within Yourself. Now, this is a topic that perhaps you would think that it has nothing to do with living your most purposeful life or enjoying greater levels of well-being or you living passionately. Because what does creating safety within yourself have to do with living you're most purposeful and passionate. I was about to say both at the same time. What does this have to do with any of that? Well, it has everything to do with you living your most passionate and purposeful life. There you go. Now I was able to say it separately. It has everything to do, right? And this is what helps you create. When you have when you have safety within yourself, this is what helps create that certainty within yourself. Now, one thing that I want to say, outside certainty is an illusion. It doesn't exist. When I say that I help people gain total clarity in the purpose so they can live their most purposeful life and live with certainty. For some reason, my tongue is getting tied here because I was speaking well in Spanish. But anyways, that happens. This happens. When I say that this helps you create certainty, the certainty that I'm referring to has nothing to do with outside certainty, but it has to do with the inner certainty, okay? And this that I'm about to share is just my personal opinion, but I'm still going to share it because I don't know who it may serve. After analyzing people and listening to people's stories, and after all these years of coaching people, I truly believe that one of the reasons why depression and anxiety is just going up and up is because of this lack of certainty that we're currently experiencing in greater quantity nowadays, right? No job is secure nowadays. Back then in my parents' time, and even our grandparents' time, you could lose a job and then find another one the next day. And nowadays, that's not the case, right? So no job is secure. The fact that your retirement money relies heavily on stocks. I don't know about you, but there's certainly no certainty with that. That was the biggest scam that we've ever received. That's just my personal opinion, because if the stock market goes down, guess where all your money is going to go? It's going to go down too, right? The fact that nowadays we are listening to so many worldly advice, and so the values have gone down, this affects families. This affects how we date. This affects how we interact with people. This affects what we seek in other people as well. Think about it. With all this worldly advice, we're here looking at what me, right? Instead of how can we mutually help each other? How can we mutually lift each other? How can we mutually grow together, right? And all this just translates to superficial relationships, to superficial dates. And all this leads also to superficial friendships as well, right? And the reason why I bring all this up is because all this brings about anxiety and depression, and it doesn't allow us to feel safe. Think about it, right? It's depressing to feel and know that perhaps the person that you rely on, you cannot rely on, that person isn't who you thought they were, right? It's depressing to think and know that the job that you currently have is insecure, right? That can be quite depressing, and that can cause anxiety. And this is why I say that outside certainty is an illusion. This is the reason why I say outside certainty is an illusion. The certainty that you want to look for has to come from within. That is the certainty that you want to rely on. And you're going to understand later on, what do I mean with all this? Because this is closely tied to you creating that safety within yourself. So stop searching for safety and certainty on things, on people, on circumstances outside of you. Stop that. With how things are going nowadays, creating safety within yourself is a must. When you learn to create safety within yourself, this benefits your mental state, because you will be able to shift your thoughts, your beliefs, your stories, the conversations that you have going on within you. This also benefits your emotional state because you will know how to activate the happiness within yourself without having to rely on something outside of you, right? And this will make you more healthy, more independent in a healthy way. That's what I wanted to say. It will make you more independent in a healthy way. And there's a reason why I'm putting emphasis on independent in a healthy way. This is because as human beings, we were designed to be interdependent. And what interdependent means is that you were created to depend on others and at the same time be independent. Interdependent is the right way. And the reason why I say this is because so many people confuse independence, being independent, with never needing others. You're gonna need others. You're always gonna need others, right? But it should never be in a way that you rely on those people for things that you should be providing to yourself first. Okay? How does safety, and if you're wondering, okay, what am I supposed to be providing to myself first before I ask of it for others? You need to be providing yourself with the love that you need. You need to be providing yourself with the attention that you need. You need to be providing yourself with the care that you need. If you're not providing that to yourself, you cannot expect that from other people as well. Neither should you, because that's a big responsibility to give to someone else. That's first your responsibility, right? And as you give that to yourself, by the way, which I didn't mention in the Spanish version, you're gonna be able to discern when someone is giving that to you in a healthy way. Oh, and there's a reason why I say that, but that's a whole different conversation that I'm not gonna get into in this episode. But the more you know how to give yourself a love that is unconditional and that's healthy, the more you're going to be able to discern when someone is giving that to you in a healthy way. Your relationship with yourself is the basis for every relationship that you have with anybody else. This is so important. How does safety within yourself looks like, in case you're wondering, okay, what is this? Well, if you look up the word safety, it means the following: the condition of being protected from or unlikely to cause danger, risk, or injury. Okay, so it is the condition of being protected from or unlikely to cause danger, risk, or injury. In other words, this is you taking care of yourself. This is you protecting yourself. And the taking care of that I'm referring to is not the one that, oh, let me do facials and let me do massages. No. None of this superficial thing. What I mean with you taking care of yourself is the kind of you taking care of yourself that is so basic and fundamental that not doing so would be detrimental to your overall well-being. That's the kind of taking care that I am referring to. If you don't do it, it will be so detrimental to your overall well-being. And so what this is you having your own back no matter what. You are there for yourself for better or for worse. Through success, through failures, you are there for yourself. You are your own cheerleader. You are your own biggest fan. You are your biggest support system. You are your own fallback. You are your own cushion. You trust yourself enough that you can count on you. You see the potential in you as much as you would want for someone else to see it in you. I don't think I mentioned that in the Spanish version, but this is very important. Okay? You see yourself the way God and the universe sees you. This is how you creating safety within yourself looks like. This is first a being and an inner doing before it can be an outer doing. Ooh, what I just said. I'm going to explain what I mean. This is first a being and an inner doing before it can be an outer doing. And what I mean with this is that there first must be an inner safety within yourself. Everything, before you could do anything, you first have to be it. Before you can create that safety outside of you, you first must do it within yourself. This is why I say it is an inner doing. And it's an inner doing actions, right? You're taking the actions within that creates that sense of safety that you can then do outside of you. For instance, I'm going to explain. For instance, if you do not feel safe in a relationship you're in with someone, rest assured that's just mirroring the relationship that you have within yourself. And let me trust me when I tell you that to get that, to understand that can be a very bitter taste, because it's easier to say, is this person's fault? Is this person not respecting me? Is this person this? But you are a participant in that, right? To the degree that you either hate yourself or you don't see all the beauty in you, you're going to choose things, people, and circumstances that only mirrors what's going on within you. Even if you don't consciously do it, but subconsciously, you will choose things, people, and situations that only mirror what's going on within you. When you fully love yourself, you don't accept any kind of abuse, breadcrumbs, jokes that are actually insults, but they're masked as jokes. Like, you're not going to accept anything that hurts your being, that hurts your mental state, that hurts your emotional state, that hurts you in any kind of way. You don't accept relationships, and this also includes friendships, that don't make you feel safe being who you really are. You're not going to accept it. You don't allow situations that compromise your peace. Okay? And when you fully love yourself, this will help you distinguish between the need and a hunger. For those of you that this is your first time either learning about me and my work and what I do, or even watching the series, when I say hunger, I mean a need that went from a normal healthy need to being an excessive need to the point that it is no longer healthy for you. For example, you're hungry for love. You're like hungry, right? You're hungry to be in a relationship. You're like desperate to be in a relationship. You're desperate to belong, that you have to have friends, even though those people are not good for you. You're desperate for attention. So you create drama in your life, right? Because you got to have that attention. This is why it's so important, if you find yourself in constant drama, for you to ask yourself, what am I gaining from this? What am I gaining from this? And this is because I can guarantee you there's something that you're gaining from that drama that you're in, and you're creating it in one way or another, or at least you're participating in it. And when I say that you're creating it, perhaps you're not creating it on a conscious level, like, let me wake up this morning and I need drama in my life. No, this is not a conscious thing. This is subconscious, right? This is subconscious. Because you're participating in that episode of your life. You're a participant, right? When you're desperate for love, attention, to be needed, to belong, let that be your sign that you lack safety within yourself. And this is because when you have safety within yourself, you don't have this need to belong where you do not belong. When you have safety within yourself, you have discernment to know when something is inconvenient for you. When you have safety within yourself, you're able to give yourself permission to be who you really are. And your no is a no, and your yes means yes. This is why this matters. This is why this matters. So with all this said, how can you create safety within yourself? Number one. Now, I'm going to sound like a broken record because I have said this before, but the reason why I keep saying it over and over is because I cannot emphasize enough how important this is. This is more important than you can possibly imagine. And this is equivalent to you working out and eating healthy so that you can remove the excess water in your body, so that you can remove the excess fat and get yourself healthy and get yourself energized and get yourself feeling good. And that is number one, inner work. Inner work. Inner work is about you developing yourself into who you really are, right? So this means unlearning what you've learned that has kept you away from who you really are. This is undoing what you've been doing that has kept you away from who you really are. This is undoing and unlearning the cultural and societal conditionings, the limiting beliefs, the stories, and the list goes on. Inner work is about connecting you to who you really are. Don't confuse this with, oh, this is about me becoming someone that I'm not. No, you will be surprised to know how who you are right now probably doesn't even come close to who you really are. Probably doesn't even come close to the potential that you have. Probably the way that you're living right now doesn't even come close to the person that you are designed to be. But of course, we have free will, right? And so when we ignore our calling, our curiosity, our whatever, when we distance ourselves from who we really are, we distance ourselves from what is meant for us and what is possible for us. This is why inner work is so important. Inner work is also about you removing the noise, right? That doesn't allow you to think and feel with clarity. When you have safety within yourself, the outside noise doesn't disturb you. And what I mean with that is that whatever other people have to say or think about you, it doesn't affect you. It doesn't touch you. That's what I mean, that it just doesn't disturb you. The noise doesn't disturb you because that's noise. That's all noise. When what other people say or think about you touches you, that means that what that person thinks or says about you, a part of you believes that's true. Ooh, I'm going to repeat this again because I really want you to get this, because many times when someone says something about us or whatever, and it disturbs us more than it has to. I'm talking about you taking this person. I'm talking about you start downing yourself. I'm talking about you stop whatever you're doing, because here you are believing or thinking that this person is right or whatever. Whenever something that someone else thinks or says about you touches you, is because there's a part of you that believes that. There's a part of you that resonates with that. This is why inner work is so important. You want to be unstoppable? Inner work. You want to be able to do things with ease? Inner work. You want certain things to be easier to attract? Inner work. Inner work. And please do not let anyone fool you into thinking that this is not true. This is true. I can guarantee you, anybody that you see that's successful, anybody that you see that they're making things happen, anybody that you see that they seem to be manifesting with ease and whatnot, they have done inner work. Anybody that tells you the contrary, they're foolish. You already know what I was about to say. They are foolish. Do not believe them. Do not believe them. Many times we focus on what I got to do, what I got to do, what I got to do. No, it's within. When you do the work within, I promise you, everything outside of you will be easier. The gap outside of you, right, exists because it first exists within you. When you close the gap within you, then the outside gap will take care of itself. It will close easily. I promise you this. Please do not let anyone make you think the opposite, because anybody saying the opposite, they're not telling you the truth. Trust, trust, all right? The second way to create safety within yourself is by constantly doing the work within yourself and outside of yourself. This is about you being consistent. One of the biggest mistakes that people make after they've either worked with a coach or with a therapist or a psychologist, and now they're feeling better, so they have this high. Oh, I don't need to continue doing the work. I don't need to continue doing this. I'm fine. I'm fine. And then they go back to all the old behaviors, all the old patterns. I mean, what do you think is going to happen with all the work that you put in, with all the investment in time, in money, in energy? It's going to go down the toilet. It's going to go down the toilet, and it's going to turn into shh. You already know what I'm about to say, right? It's going to turn to shit, right? What happens if you've worked out and eat healthy for years, and all of a sudden you decide that you're no longer going to eat well, that you're going to eat all the junk food there is, that you're never going to work out? What's going to happen? Well, if you've lost weight, well, you're going to gain all that weight back. Rest assured, you're going to gain all that weight back. Take it from me, right? Where I have worked out for years, right? And after all the sacrifices, all the supermarket shopping, all the eating healthy, all the time that I cooked, all the time that I meal prepped, and I took my food everywhere with me, and I gained almost all the pounds that I have lost back, almost all of it. So just because you've done the work doesn't mean that you stop. The same thing applies with you, yourself within, not just with weight loss. It applies to everything in your life. Take this that I just said is worth gold, because this applies to everything, whether it's weight loss, whether it is success in business. You think that just because you've done work and you've gained some momentum, you stop. No, you don't stop. So the same thing applies to your inner work. That safety within yourself, that trust within yourself, that support that you give to your own self, that unconditional love that you give to you, that needs to be a daily thing. That needs to be a daily thing. Your relationship with yourself will blossom when you consistently nurture yourself, consistently work on yourself. You do not undo your hard work. When you undo the hard work that you put in, all the beautiful work that you have done, all this is this is when you're gonna feel that you always have to start all over again. I don't know about you, but when I have to start all over again, something that I said to myself I'm gonna do and blah, 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 I'm discouraged. I get discouraged, right? So if you notice that you consistently feel discouraged, ask yourself if this is because you're consistently starting all over again because you keep on doing the hard work that you do. If this is the case, stop it. Stop it. Interrupt this pattern, because that's what this is. This is a pattern, right? And you do this through inner work and consistently working on you. And let me tell you this. You consistently working on yourself will be the best project that you will ever have. It will be the best project that you will ever have. If you want a project, make yourself into a project. And you know what I mean. There's some people that they make someone else a project, or let me get into this relationship and let me work on this person. No. Work on yourself. When you work harder on yourself than you do on a job, than you do on anything else, that's when you're going to see your life blossom. That's when you're going to see things happen with more ease. You are the most fascinating project that you can ever have. And this is because you're going to be learning more about yourself in the process of you working on yourself. You're going to understand yourself in a much deeper way. You're going to understand why you've been doing everything that you've been doing. And this is the way that you give yourself that attention that you need, right? This is the way, well, one of the many ways that you can be loving towards yourself, right? For the most part, you tell me, every woman is different, right? For the most part, when a man gives a woman the attention, even if the woman is not interested, perhaps, over time, the woman will start paying attention to that man, right? Will start having feelings for that man, perhaps even falling in love with that man, right? The reason why I use that as an example is because when you start giving yourself that attention, you're going to start falling more and more in love with yourself. You're going to be more hooked in your relationship with yourself. And that's where you want to get to. You want to get to that point where you are hooked on your own self. You are mesmerized by your own self. You are in love with yourself. You see how awesome you are. You see how amazing you are. You are delighted by your own self. That's where you want to get. And this also allows you to create safety within yourself. Okay. The third way to create safety within yourself is to honor your commitments to yourself. Listen and pay close attention to everything that I'm going to say here, because this is so important. This is so valuable to you, because this is something that we've all been guilty of. And when we do this, this affects our self-esteem. This affects the trust that we have within ourselves. It actually breaks the trust that we have within ourselves, right? This affects our levels of self-confidence. So you're going to want to pay close attention. It is easy to honor the commitments that we have with others, and that's because they hold us accountable to it. If we say we're going to do something for someone and we don't do it, they're going to be upset. They're not going to be happy with us. And we probably don't want that, right? However, it's easier to break our commitment with our own selves. And if you think about it, this is because there is no third party holding us accountable, right? There's no one to tell us, oh, you haven't done this, you haven't done that. What's up with this? Right? However, there is danger with that. It is dangerous when we break our own commitment with ourselves. We may not realize it, but it's very, very dangerous, okay? You breaking your own commitments to yourself creates a lack of trust within yourself, lack of respect for yourself. You won't honor any other commitment that you make to yourself. And your perception of yourself will be blurred. Because think about it. If you don't trust yourself, if you don't respect yourself, and if you don't believe anything you say to yourself, okay, I'm going to do this. Oh, you're not gonna have the perception that you need of yourself, that you know that you have what it takes to do whatever it is that you set yourself out to do. You won't see the potential within you. Or if you do see it, it's going to be so blurred, you're not going to follow through on that potential, right? And think about this. How will you feel if someone says they're going to do something for you or with you or whatnot, that person made a commitment with you and they just break it? How are you going to feel? How are you going to perceive that person? Well, everything that I just mentioned is what you're going to feel. You're not going to trust that person, right? The word is not going to be worth much. You obviously not going to have the same respect for the person because you know, okay, this person, what they say, I can't really trust it because they say they're going to do one thing, but then they'll do it. You're not going to have that level of trust for that person. You're not going to have respect. Your perception of that person is going to be very blurred. Even if they make a promise, you're not going to believe their promise, right? Well, the same thing happens when you do this to yourself. It's not any different. So it's important that if you said to yourself that you're going to do something, that you follow through no matter what. And this is because this is going to help you learn to trust yourself. This will create more respect for yourself. Anything else that you commit to, you're not going to approach it with fear. Oh, I don't know if I have what it takes. As a matter of fact, you're going to approach it with trust, right? Because you know, okay, if I said that I'm going to do this, I know I'm going to make it a reality. Your self-confidence will grow as a result. Your self-love and trust will grow as well. When I set a goal for myself, oh, I know I'm going to reach it. I know. And the reason why I know is because I trust myself to do what it takes. I have proven to myself that I have what it takes to do it, right? So the reason why I say that is because every time you keep your commitment to yourself, you're giving yourself proof, you're giving yourself evidence that you can rely on yourself, creating safety, that you can trust yourself, creating safety, that you have what it takes to do whatever it is that you set yourself out to do, creating safety. Do you see why this is important? For you to live your most purposeful life, this whole thing of creating safety, you keeping your commitments for yourself will give you the evidence that you need, that you have what it takes to do whatever it is that you want. When it's hard for you to keep your commitments to yourself, there is a layer that you're living from. There's a story that you're telling yourself. There's a limiting belief that you're living from. Okay? And it's going to be very important that you bring awareness to what this is, right? And that you transform it, because the more you keep it hidden, the more that's going to be in the driver's seat of your life. You have to make sure that your highest self is in the driver's seat of your life. That is the biggest job that you will have. When your highest self is in the driver's seat of your life, oh, you have safety within yourself. You have safety within yourself. You're not going to be blinded by your layers. You're not going to be blinded by the noise, especially nowadays. It is so important, especially nowadays, so you could be grounded, so you can move forward in life with that certainty within. It becomes more important that you create that safety within yourself. And it is my desire that you allow everything that I just shared to sink in. Because if you apply this, if you do the inner work and you stay consistent with the work within and outside of you, and you honor the commitments that you make for yourself, I'm telling you, the ripple effect that this is going to have in your life will be massive. In your posture, in how you show up in life, in your self-esteem, in your self-confidence, in everything, your trust in yourself, in everything, in the choices that you make. And if you are wanting to create a transformation in your life, or perhaps you need to gain more self-confidence, more self-esteem, more self-love, start seeing yourself clearly, create safety within yourself, then I'm going to highly recommend that you schedule your clarity call with me. You can always contact me. I'm always putting that link. And in that call, we're going to go over where you are now, where you desire to be, what is needed to close that gap, and how I'm able to help you. You don't need to be stuck. You don't need to be confused. You don't need to be going in circles. you certainly cannot afford to not create that safety within yourself. So schedule that clarity call with me and share this message, share this video with others. You never know who needs to listen to this message. You never know what someone else is going through. And this can be the message that wakes them up. This can be the message that makes them say, oh my God, I don't have safety within myself. I need to start creating safety within myself. So share this video with other people, share it. And with that said, it is my desire that you live life to the max the way you are destined to live. And until next time, bye for now.